Welcome back, everybody. This is a emergency session. This is urgent. This is positive. We're
Needed
here.
it.
We're here only because Mike Matthews has come back out of the portal. Something I talked about the other night. You just don't see that often much in this day and age in the transfer portal. But Tennessee successfully recruited a guy that was already on their team on campus. But I think that's important when you have a guy like Mike Matthews. That considering leaving, especially when you've already had wide receivers in the transfer portal, you've already had key contributors graduate. Mike Matthews was an important asset to keep on campus, and Josh Heupel in Tennessee did it. And the circumstances around everything will be rumored and talked about for a while. Austin Price may have put some of that to bed, but I'm also, and I don't think Austin Price is reporting anything fictional on purpose. And I'm not saying what he said was fictional by any means, but it all came out afterwards. And I think take it with a grain of salt. Like, he's reporting what he's been told. That doesn't mean it was entire. Like, I just don't. The circumstances are weird. I think, you alluded to it, like with if it was about Nico, well, why didn't he just pick up the phone and call Nico, kind of deal?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he's back on campus. And another thing I said last night is I was like, no news is bad news. Well, Landon, we got news today.
Yep.
And it was the good news.
It was the good news. Yeah. And like the longer it went on, it just felt like more and more that he was not going to be here. Maybe that's not how Tennessee's staff felt, but that's, as a fan, I mean, you see this often, like, it's the longer it goes, it's usually not in Tennessee's favor for anything. So it was nice to get that good news, and you're just sitting a lot better. You're in a better spot at that receiver room because you get a guy like Mike Matthews with a ton of upside. You've seen. Obviously, he was a 5-star out of Georgia. You beat out pretty much any. He could have went anywhere, and you were able to lock him down, and that was big. And I made the joke today. It's cool about landing a 5-star is getting to land them twice.
Sure.
But I think that's kind of where college football is at.
Yeah.
But what I don't really know what all went on with the Mike Matthews. Obviously, there was what it boils down to. He wasn't satisfied with his role this season, and I think a lot of Tennessee fans, obviously, we don't see practice, but we're like, hey, we would like to see him more too. And if it is true that he just went to Josh Heupel and it wasn't about money and it was just about like, hey, I want to know what my role is. I want to know what your plan is for the offense. I like that.
Sure. And I think, that's any player's going to. So we talked about the trust factor with coaches. Players are going to stick around. They've got to trust. And we talk about this with recruiting. They got to trust the vision. They got to trust the direction. They got to trust the system they're playing in. And I think that obviously had a lot to do with it. But it's also weird that just a week ago, Landon, we were being told that there was a new deal in progress. But it wasn't about this. That's where I'm just like, I don't know what's true. And Jabari Davis responded to your tweet and said it wasn't about money and that it was about communicating his role within the team. And again, I'm sure that I think it's just so multifaceted that we'll probably, like, I don't even know if you could pinpoint it to one thing, but apparently I think his mom said that his stuff was still in Knoxville. Like, he had no plans on moving. And so, it sounds like he wanted to stay. And you mentioned it, maybe Tennessee's coaches never felt that he was going to leave, that they were going to be able to get him back. And I think the timing of it makes a lot of sense, where we talked about it with Tobe Awaka, and like, at some point you have to fill that roster spot, whether it's with you or someone else. I think when you look at who Tennessee's being connected with, it's probably like, hey, we're gonna get these guys or not. We got to make a decision now, and then we got to decide if we got to go add another in place of you. Like, we do need a decision. I don't know if they necessarily put that timetable on him, but it tracks that it was kind of like, hey, we need a decision by this date. Not any pressure, but we also have to go and we have to have someone here.
Well, it was the longest 48 hours in history. It ended up being almost a week where It was like, okay, like this is today where you have like either
Yeah.
you're going in the portal or you're not. So yeah, like it is nice to just kind of have that resolved. Um, and it's also really nice that you get a player like that who, has had a ton of expectations coming into this season. As that 5-star, when you're labeled a 5-star, it just, I mean, especially with Tennessee fans, it's probably like that everywhere, but I'm not really in the
No, it
weeds of
is.
anywhere else. But you have that 5-star next to you, like
Absolutely.
that comes with expectations, and for whatever reason, didn't work out this season. But I do kind of want to allude to like it didn't. Jalen Hyatt wasn't Jalen Hyatt until his third year in the system. It took Brew McCoy a little bit to get going. It took Squirrel White that second year. He really took off. I think it takes guys a little bit to get going in this. Dante Thornton's another one who didn't look great his first year on campus, and then the second year was Tennessee's most productive receiver. So
Yeah.
um, now I think there
Well,
is a little bit to that. Just hey, you're a freshman, and just because you see Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams, like it's okay that you're not having a significant role on a
yeah.
playoff team's offense right now.
Right. You mentioned Jalen Hyatt, and I don't remember who posted it that apparently his mom had said that that was a key part of him coming to Tennessee was he was in town for that Alabama performance by Jalen Hyatt. Like that was his expectations of this offense, and I think that's another interesting thing that I have questions about the vision, the role that he's going to have. If the vision for 2025 isn't protect Nico, well, then any vision beyond that's dead and gone. It doesn't matter. And maybe going back to Nico's tweet, maybe that was if we want to keep Mike Matthews around, we gotta get the ball in the air, and I need
Mm-hmm.
to be protected to get the ball in the air. So maybe we can connect some dots that way. But
Sure.
I mean, if Mike Matthews wants to get the football, this offensive line needs to drastically improve. Like you can call the plays you want, but if Nico can't feel protected and be protected, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's a just scrap it. And that I think that again, it's just one of those things I don't understand. And going back into you talked about the longest 48 hours, and I think it's a safe assumption that when a guy goes in the portal in this day and age, they're gone. We were pretty much told on Friday night, Saturday night, if Monday comes and he's in the portal, like peace.
See ya.
That's what
Yeah.
it was never said directly, but that is how it felt we were being told.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Monday rolls around, Tuesday rolls around, Wednesday, Thursday roll around, and there's still really no word. So then you don't really know what to expect. It's all just been very strange. I'm excited to have Mike Matthews back. I think we talked about winning and losing the portal, and I said winning the portal would be a lot harder if you lost Mike Matthews. So I think it's a lot easier to win in the transfer portal now with getting him back. And so, of course, I'm pumped for this. I just don't understand what all went on. I'm also okay with going, hey, he's 18, 19 years old. He had either he wanted to feel the process out, or maybe he had some bad advice or whatever. Like I'm okay with that too, if it's that simple of an answer, because that makes sense. But a lot of it just doesn't necessarily add up, and I still have questions. They have not crossed into the concern territory. I still have questions about what this 2025 offense is going to be capable of, especially losing your premier piece and Dylan Sampson. But getting Mike Matthews back at least answers one of those.
Well, yeah, and like we can go back and forth all day long about what went on and why he was thinking about leaving and this and that. At the end of the day, he's back. So
Sure.
the rest of it doesn't really matter.
Well,
One thing, I just
it may matter if the things that needed to be fixed, that
right,
are
yeah,
the
we
rumor
might
of why
have
he stayed, if they're not fixed, then it's even more
yeah, we
confusing.
could go through this in spring practice. We go through it at the end of next year, whatever. But
I don't think
for
you can
now,
go through it really till the end of next year to see what changed.
yeah, to see what happens with the offense, yeah. But that's Kelsey Pope and Josh Heupel's job and Joey Halsley. Like they are the ones that are supposed to make this thing happen. Yeah, you see Jalen Hyatt running for 1,000,000,000 yards in 2022. You see him in that Alabama game, and national television, just having the game of his life. And you're like, man, I want to do that.
Right.
And then here we are 2 years later, and the wide receivers have been a weakness for your program. I'm sure there is questions. I have questions about it. I know like guys on the team have questions about it. Like, what is your plan to get it fixed?
Right.
And I assume he got the answers he was looking for. And so I hope it comes to fruition where things are fixed. You protect Nico. You have more motions and a better scheme where you're able to get guys open more often. Maybe hey, we need to kill the jugs machine. Like if we have to go through 5 different jugs machines because we're using it so much, let's do that. Let's
And
catch more balls and have less drops during the season.
And as a football watcher, I understand how useful and critical at times wide receiver screens can be. I think they need to be. We need to like wipe them out of Josh Heupel's mind. Like you can no longer throw to the wide receiver behind the line of scrimmage
Until you complete 2 explosive plays, and then you can do that.
Sure, and I'm gonna be kicking myself on like 3rd and 1s when they're stacking the box, and you could have dumped it out. But I'm also gonna be like, hey, at least we didn't throw it on 3rd and 10 with a safety over top, manned up. Like, so you kick yourself sometimes, you don't others. I'm sick of watching them unfold on the most predictable down. Like not even predictable. That's not the right word, but just on downs that you're going, it would never work here, but we're gonna throw it.
No, yeah. Well, I think
Score White had negative rushing yards due to that. Yeah, like a bubble screen.
The basketball practice where they have to like it has to go through like every person's hands before it can be shot.
Figure 8.
Maybe
baby.
we do something like that. Yeah, let's do. Everybody has
long downfield passes. Only.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah,
it has to travel. The ball has to travel 30 feet in the air or something.
Everybody has to at least have a first down completion before the catch.
Skip passes all the time.
Yeah, and then we can do that. Yes,
I'm down. It's good. It's I want to reiterate. I obviously with all the confusion, it's just I guess not frustrating. I guess as a fan, you're like, what is happening? What is going on? But this is also just the state of college football now, and the insanity. It is absolutely good to have Mike Matthews back. Amari Jefferson obviously still trending towards Tennessee. He did not have the official Fong bomb until today, right? But it was 100% yesterday when we talked about it. He got it today.
Okay, so now it's 300%, right?
Elite minimum. Ross Gibbett actually found out last night that he was in the portal and he made the phone call.
Okay,
I don't know how he found that out.
Yeah,
not sure how, but he found out. So it's happening, and then I mean we'll see updates on other wide receivers that Tennessee's targeting. I think they still have room to build that room out. But you got a really, really critical piece back, and I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, you have 3 guys instead of 2 that you maybe thought you were going to have last night. So that's big to get that. I think those freshmen are going to have to develop. I think at least one of those guys is going to have to play at least a little bit next year. But Tennessee can play with 3 wide receivers. Now, that's not super ideal. You got to stay healthy to do that.
But he wants to do it anyway, so just
let
it happen.
Yeah, so we now have to have 3 guys play. Not out of necessity, but just because that's all we got.
Right.
But yeah, you're going to build some depth with the portal, whether that's Amari Jefferson, Malik Benson. It looks like it's Tennessee made the top 3 in his. He was the number 1 JUCO player in 2023, picked Alabama over Tennessee, was at Florida State last year. So I think he could probably be a depth piece. Zachariah Branch, that name's been thrown out. We'll see kind of when he visits or if he visits to see if that thing is real. But yeah, I don't think Tennessee's done at receiver, but man, it looks a whole lot. I don't think you're scrambling in the transfer portal now with the addition of Mike Matthews. You can be a little bit, you're going to have to add some pieces, but you can be a little bit more selective. Whereas, if you didn't have him, I think you're kind of just like, let's get 5 guys and see who works.
Sure.
But yeah, it is a good get. Again,
second year in a row.
Second year in a row, yeah. Does that count for like when they have assistant recruiting rankings?
I think that should come out that should be a part of the transfer portal ranking because he did enter, and then Tennessee got him out of the transfer portal. So in the on the website it'll show power tee and then an arrow to another power tee.
Well, he didn't officially enter, right?
I thought he had to by Monday. Like I thought that was the thing.
He just had to like ask for papers, but they weren't actually submitted until today. Yeah, I don't know.
Holy crap!
He was never actually in the portal.
So why was Monday ever a deadline? I thought Saturday was the deadline to request it.
Well, everybody thought it was Monday, but then it gives 2 days for the university to put in
And
the
then
papers.
we had a New Year's holiday.
And then we had a
This
holiday.
is so stupid. This is so stupid.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to this emergency update. The good one, the good kind. We stay away from the emergency bad ones because then we have to delete videos. But so we appreciate it. We'll try not to put those out, or we might. I don't know. Right. Hopefully nothing bad happens. We'll be back Sunday, recapping Arkansas. Tennessee takes on Arkansas tomorrow at 1 p.m. Yeah,
I named it this. So confidence level 1 to 10 for this receiver room next year. Go.
Again, I don't even think it's on them. I'm gonna be really, really just like whelmed about it. Whatever a C plus would be. So what would that be? Like a 6.5, 7?
Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. I was gonna say 6. I think they're unproven. I think there is some talent to kind of get you excited. But it's young talent, and we'll see kind of what they get done out of the portal to see if that goes up.
But it's a little too early in the portal season to 100% say.
Right. Yeah. We'll see kind of where they can get to, but I think a 6 is not bad. And I'm kind of basing that off in the hopes that you kind of do like, it's kind of like the DBs last year where they just kind of got rid of a bunch of guys, added in some new faces, and it worked for the better. I'm hoping that's kind of the same thing that we see next year with this receiver room.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, go check out Hovey Dry Goods. The hair was looking good today, so I did not put on a hat, but here's the hat. Go check out Hovey Dry Goods, presenting sponsor of More Important Issues. 15% off your purchase with promo code MORE. Again, promo code MORE, 15% at hoveydrygoods.com. Go check them out. Thank y'all again for listening. Mike Matthews is back, and all is well with Tennessee. Thank y'all.